Have you ever met someone who didn't need any reason to hurt people? They didn't do it for money. They didn't do it for revenge. They just enjoyed it. Most villains in anime are chasing something concrete: revenge, justice, a twisted dream of a better world, power, meaning, redemption. Makima wants control over every living thing to create a world without fear. Light Yagami wants to become a god and cleanse humanity of crime. Johann Liebert wants to prove that life itself is completely meaningless. Even Kenjaku, the mastermind of JJK, wants to force the next stage of human evolution. But Ryomen Sukuna wants none of those things. He doesn't want revenge against the sorcerers who sealed him. He doesn't want peace. He doesn't want to rule a kingdom. He doesn't want to destroy for a greater cause. He wants pleasure, raw, unfiltered, shameless pleasure. He wants to watch the world break simply because the sound of it breaking feels good to him. And that single difference makes him more terrifying than any of them. Not just because he's powerful, but because he needs no excuse to use that power. This isn't another power scaling video. I don't care about who has more cursed energy. This isn't a recap. This is a deep psychological breakdown of why Ryomen Sukuna might be the most honest and most horrifying antagonist anime has ever created. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never see Sukuna or any other villain the same way again. To understand him, we first have to look at his opposite. Let's start inside JJK, because the contrast becomes clearest when we compare Sukuna to the one man who actually tries to control chaos itself, Kenjaku. Kenjaku is the ultimate chess master. He is a creature of patience. He manipulates events across centuries, body hopping from Noritoshi to Kaori to Geto. He engineers curses, he creates the death paintings, he seals Gojo in the prison realm, and he rewrites history, all to force humanity into its next stage through cursed energy. Kenjaku is ambition on a cosmic scale. Every move he makes has purpose. Every betrayal serves a future. He views human history as a lab experiment, and he is the scientist carefully adjusting the variables. Kenjaku plays the long game to create something new. Sukuna plays only for today's entertainment. Kenjaku builds intricate plans over 1,000 years. Sukuna destroys them in seconds. Kenjaku wants to change the world. Sukuna is change itself. Unstoppable, indifferent, and uninterested in what happens afterwards. Think about the Shibuya incident. Kenjaku is there with a specific tactical objective: seal Gojo to allow the culling games to begin. It is a necessary step in a grand plan. Sukuna, on the other hand, wakes up, realizes he has control, and immediately asks, where are the women? Where are the children? He isn't thinking about the future. He isn't thinking about the balance of the JJK world. He just wants to see how much damage he can do before his time runs out. One builds a future, the other burns the present and enjoys every second of the fire. Now, let's widen the scope. Look outside JJK. When you analyze the greats of modern anime villains, they almost always have a burden. Look at Makima from Chainsaw Man. She is terrifying, yes, but her cruelty creates structure. She believes that total control is the only way to save humanity from suffering, death, and war. She views herself as a necessary evil, a shepherd for the sheep. Her evil has a purpose. She thinks she's saving us. Look at Eren Yeager. He commits global atrocities. He becomes a monster. But why? Because he believes destiny has left him no choice. He is trying to break a cycle of hatred that has lasted for generations. He is crushed by the weight of his own actions. He cries, he suffers, he hates what he has to do, but he does it for freedom. Even Griffith from Berserk. Griffith sacrificed everything, betrayed everyone he loved, and became a monster. But he did it for a dream. He did it to build a kingdom. He wanted to rule something beautiful. Sukuna would burn Griffith's kingdom down just to warm his hands. But Sukuna doesn't want to save anything. He doesn't want to free anything. He doesn't want to prove anything to society. He doesn't have a tragic backstory where he was wronged by the world. He just wants to eat. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to live without any leash at all? No guilt, no shame, no second thoughts, no anxiety about the future. Most villains are slaves to their cause. They are burdened by their ideology. Sukuna is free from every single chain. He lives with a lightness that no other villain has. And that lightness is exactly what makes him so heavy to watch. Let's break this psychology down into 3 specific pillars. Pillar 1, desire without justification. Why do almost all villains give you their backstory? Think about Pain from Naruto. Think about Doflamingo. They give speeches. They tell you about their pain. Why? Because they want understanding. They want permission. Deep down, they want you to look at them and say, I get it. I understand why you did it. They are seeking validation for their atrocities. Sukuna never asks for your approval. He doesn't explain. He doesn't justify. He hurts people simply because he wants to. In the same way you might step on an ant because you're bored. When he takes control of Yuji in Shibuya, he doesn't give a speech about how the Heian era was better or how sorcerers today are weak. He just smiles, and the killing starts. That silence, that lack of explanation, is what makes him feel alien. We are used to villains who want to be seen as tragic or misunderstood. Sukuna doesn't care if you understand him. He doesn't care if you hate him. In fact, he barely acknowledges that you exist at all. This leads us to a specific type of horror that is unique to Sukuna, the horror of intimacy. Unlike Aizen or Madara, who exist as distant generals on a battlefield, Sukuna lives inside our protagonists. He shares a body with Yuji. He sees what Yuji sees. He feels what Yuji feels. Usually in anime, the inner demon eventually becomes a partner. Naruto befriends Kurama. Ichigo accepts his hollow. We expect the monster to eventually soften, to find a middle ground. Sukuna completely subverts this trope. He never softens. He never bonds with Yuji. Instead, he creates a specialized torture hell for him. He forces Yuji to watch his own hands commit mass murder. He creates the N-chain vow not to help Yuji, but to trap him later. He takes the most intimate connection possible, sharing a physical body, and uses it as a weapon of absolute psychological torture. That isn't just evil. That is a level of personal cruelty that most villains never touch. Pillar 2, evil without identity. Most villains become symbols, revolutionaries, victims, martyrs, gods. They want to represent something bigger than themselves. Stain represents true heroism. The Joker represents chaos. Sukuna represents nothing. He isn't a revolutionary. He isn't a savior. He isn't even really a curse in any political or ideological sense. He is pure ego, pure appetite, pure self. When he fights Maharaga in Shibuya, destroying incredible amounts of infrastructure, or when he fights Jogo, the king of curses, against a disaster curse. Note the irony. Jogo wants curses to replace humans. Jogo has a dream. Jogo cries when he dies because he failed his race. Sukuna laughs at him. He tells Jogo, "You should have just burned everything you wanted to burn." Sukuna rejects identity. He rejects race. He rejects curse versus human. He does what he does because he can and because it feels good. There is no deeper meaning behind his actions, and that absence of motive makes him unpredictable. You cannot negotiate with a man who wants nothing but his own amusement. He isn't trying to be anything, he simply is. Pillar 3, freedom as his only law. Every other villain is tied to trauma, ideology, destiny, or validation. Sukuna follows no law except his own desire. No guilt, no hesitation, no regret. He feels less like a character and more like a force of nature. A hurricane doesn't hate you. A hurricane doesn't have a tragic backstory. It just destroys you because that is what it does. When Sukuna appears, hope disappears, because hope is an emotion directed towards the future. You hope things will get better. Sukuna forces you to live entirely in the present moment, and in his present moment, you are nothing but a toy. Every time he fights, every time he speaks, he reminds the heroes that there is no higher purpose, no cosmic balance, no redemption arc waiting. There is only strength and the freedom to use it. Here's the uncomfortable truth most fans don't want to admit out loud. Sukuna is terrifying, yet part of us respects him. Why? Because deep down,
Everyone has felt, even for a second, the desire to stop pretending, to stop caring what others think, to stop filtering every action through guilt, shame, social rules, or politeness. Psychologist Carl Jung called this the shadow. The shadow is the part of our psyche that contains our darkest repressed desires, the selfishness, the aggression, the hunger. We spend our whole lives hiding the shadow to fit into society. Sukuna is the shadow, walking around in daylight. It reflects our own suppressed nature back at us. We live our lives bound by the atmosphere. We worry about fitting in. We worry about being good. Sukuna lives that dark fantasy of total freedom every moment of his existence. He never apologizes. He never second-guesses himself. He never dilutes himself to make others comfortable. He is the ultimate expression of the id. That radical self-ownership is magnetic. It's horrifying, it's monstrous, but it is honest in a way almost no one else is. That's why so many people are drawn to him. He's the shadow we pretend doesn't exist until we see it on screen and can't look away. Sukuna's desire isn't chaotic, it's calm, it's controlled. Where others hesitate, Sukuna never does. Light needs to be right. Johan needs to be understood. Sukuna needs nothing. He isn't the ultimate antagonist because he's the strongest. He's the ultimate because he needs no excuse to be evil. No tragic origin, no moral ideology, just pure, shameless desire. If this breakdown changed how you see the King of Curses, hit subscribe to StoryStrap for more. And drop in the comments right now, who is the most brutally honest villain you've ever seen in anime? Is it Sukuna, or is there someone even darker?
I'm recording this after finishing the entire edit. To be honest, I've already used up 99% of my cursed energy. I'm doing this on my last 1%. So if you made it this far, thank you. I'm not gonna force you to subscribe. If you did, welcome. If not, that's fine. You can always decide later. What I actually want right now is your honesty. After pouring days into this edit, I feel a bit like Jogo. I gave it everything, but I need to know if it was enough. So head down to the comments and be my Higuruma. Put me on trial. I want you to be either my Sukuna or my Levi. If you enjoyed the video, tell me, stand proud. You are strong. But if you thought it was trash, hit me with the Levi Ackerman special. Give up on your dreams and I can take it.